Hello everyone, I'm Susan Boback, the card connoisseur, and I'm really glad that you stopped by to see my latest card design. We have sunshine here in the central upper peninsula of Michigan, and it's so welcomed after the very rough winter we had and the early spring flooding. It's a little cold today, but the sun is shining, so welcome. I was inspired for this card by a card I found in my stash that I made some time ago. I'm calling it the tab top card. And it's really not hard to make, but I like things that are a little out of the ordinary. So this is a way it starts out like this and then it flips up like this. Well, the one that I show you today is a little different so that when you look at the card and you can see the sentiment, Happy Mother's Day on the top, when you open it, it stays stationary and you can still see the greeting on the inside. Isn't that fun? So I'm going to show you how to make this card. I think it's a, what do I want to say? It's not a fancy fold. It's not done with a lot of ink, which I really like, but by using one 12 by 12 piece of paper, I'm going to show you how you can make 3 of these cards and 3 other card designs just out of one 12 by 12. So if you have 12 by 12s that you like both sides of, that would be perfect for this card. We always ask people to use some paper that they don't like or that they're not going to use to make your own pattern. Now, if you were to take a 12 by 12 size, this one has already been cut partially for this card. You're going to cut your 12 by 12 into 3 4 by 12 pieces. So here's the other 2 that I cut that went along with this one. And so then you're going to take your 12 by 12 piece and you're going to cut it at 8.5. So now it's 4 inches wide. You have to take a look and see which direction your pattern is going, of course, first of all. Then whatever cutter you're using, cut it at 8.5. Now you're going to set this aside, and a little later I'm going to show you how you can use the 3 pieces that you've cut off from your 12 by 12 for another design card. So now we have this piece that's 4 across this way and 8.5 inch this way. Here's the measurements. And now we're going to score it at 4 1/4 on the long side. We're going to line it up at 4 1/4. And I got in the habit of letting my finger catch the paper guide on my Stampin' Up! Trimmer, because sometimes we cut when we're supposed to be scoring. If you've ever done that, guess what? You're not alone. So I'm going to score it, which is exactly in half. Now I'm going to switch over to a different paper. This is the beautiful new Lily of the Valley paper. And this piece is already cut and scored. And so this little instructions here tells you that the base is 4 1/4 by 4.5. That's this lavender piece right here. So now I've got the new green, and here's my 4 1/4 by 4.5. And what we're going to do is we're going to attach it to here, but first we're going to punch the hole. So take your piece, remember to pay attention to which direction your paper design goes. So for instance, this long piece, although when I open it up, it goes all the way up. When I fold it in half, this pattern then would appear to be upside down. So I want to make sure that when I have this side up, the pattern is still going in the direction of the design. Okay, so now you're going to turn it so that the fold is towards you. Now this instructions then goes on to say, punch a hole that is 2 inches. Now you don't have to use a 2-inch, but this is what I've used. Once you do it the way the directions show, then you can always make your own variation. Now on the back of my punch, you can see I have 4 marks here that marks out the 1/4 and 1/2 of each. Now this is a 2-inch punch. And so these marks are going to be very helpful now because I want to go exactly all the way in to the 1/2 mark. You can see here, I don't want to go to a 1/4 mark. I want to go all the way in to the 1/2 mark. And you don't need a template really. You can just eye it up. This is about a 1/2 inch here, a 1/2 inch here. Again, I want to line it up with my black lines there and make sure that it's as straight as it can be, maybe, and then just punch it out. Now you will be attaching this to here. So you can use this piece. As you can see here, there's a circle right here. You can use this piece and you can apply it like this, making sure that this folded scored piece here is right literally where the folded, where the top part of this cardstock is. In fact, you might want to fold it over like that so you get an idea of where it is. Okay, but if you don't want to use that same one, you could use one of similar color out of cardstock. And that's what I'm going to do here. That's what I've done over here on this one. And whatever your circle that goes with the sentiment is going to be, you want to make sure to stamp that first. Now the inner circle then, let's see if I can get this a little more where you can see it. So punch the second layer with a smaller punch. This I've used a 1 3/4 inch. And this also has the markings in case you had decided to use a halfway mark on this. So I punched a 1 3/4. This isn't the right color, but then you see that it would go, you would attach it here. So when you glue on the large circle, you're just going to put glue on 1/2 of it. And to make sure that you get it right, you're first going to put glue on the back of this so that it can glue down. And to get it right, I would put the glue down here so that you don't get concerned that you're putting glue a little farther on the back of this. So let's add this to the piece. I use this green Tombow glue, but you use whatever works best for you. But I always remind our viewers, our crafters, that whatever glue you're using, especially liquid glue, you're not in first grade anymore. You don't have to have a big glob of glue to make it work. So just kind of center it. It's about a 1/4 to I think it's about 1/8 of an inch margin border around. Press it down. Okay, now I'm going to put this on. I don't have to stamp on top of this. So I'm going to put some glue. Right in there. Get it in there as exact as you can. Get a little bit of pressure. Now, in my own collection of paper, I found this paper with lavender and a little bit of leaves. Isn't it pretty? I thought it went along with this so well that I think I'm going to stamp on this. I don't think I have one already done. No, I'm going to stamp on this, and I think I'm going to use this. Perhaps down here like this, or perhaps up here like this with my message. I don't know what that's going to be yet. So when you open this up then, it does have this beautiful yellow print right inside. Now, it might be too much for you or your reader to read your writing, so you could put a small piece of paper across here that you could write a signature. Or if you wanted to add a gift card or some currency, you could cut a piece that's about 1.5 by 4, punch out a thumb notch, then add glue to just the 2 sides, the bottom, and stick it down here. Then you could, when you put your gift card or your currency in, make sure that it doesn't stick way up here, because that would be seen then on the outside of the card. Put it right in here. You could still write "Sending my love" and sign your name, or you can even stamp a sentiment up there. Okay, so I think this one here, this one shows that I've added some, I call it bling, stick-on bling. I've added some little jewels here. And I think actually, even though the paper, this flocked paper, is very beautiful, I think adding the little bit of sparkles makes it even more special. So on this one, I may add, I don't know if the red goes, but I think I might add some of the gold ones. But you'll have to come back and see my finished card, which is what I always do. Come back and see a post that I'll make about the finished card from this tutorial. Now, if you remember, I said you take a 12 by 12 and you cut it in 3 4 by 12 pieces. Each of those 4 by 12 pieces is cut into a 4 by 8.5. And then you have this piece left, down here that I asked you to set aside. So let me show you how to use the pieces that are left to make yet another card. That way there's no waste. You could always set them aside and do them at another time, as long as you don't forget about it. So this card base is called an A2. That means it's 8.5, scored in half at 4 1/4, and folded 5.5 by 4 1/4. That's a measurement, if you're new to card making, that you should memorize. 5.5 by 4 1/4. Now, out of one piece like this, I've cut a little strip off, and I could attach the one here. Here's the little strip I cut off, and I could glue this down here, and I could add something like this, and that would make a nice, simple design. Or I could turn the card landscape, add a piece like this, and just add a sentiment over here. Now you see, you would get 3 cards of this design, and then 3 of the tab top cards from the 4 by 8.5 piece. Now, as I'm getting into junk journaling, I'm seeing so many other designs for junk journal pages and cards and, let's see, journaling cards and tags. All of these things are, to me, so similar to what we do in paper crafting. So I just want to show you a little variation then that I saw from Anne Kenlon, who I watch regularly, who perhaps took this idea from a card, and maybe not. Maybe that's not where her inspiration came from. but she made a tab top journaling card for a scrapbook page. And so it's basically the same thing. It's double-sided paper. Now in this case, you don't have to like both sides because you're going to put some journaling paper on it. But it's basically very much the same. It's a tall piece that's scored in half, that has the punched out piece at the top and another punched out piece layer added to it. So this is what I did then. I added the journal paper on the inside here. Instead of a circle, I use this cutout here. And then on this one, I added a little pocket in the front. So thanks for joining me today. Here's my original inspiration. Here's the card that I made like it. And here's the inspiration I got from Anne Kenlon. So whether you're making cards that open this way or simple cards like this, or a journal card for a junk journal, I think you will find this tab top design very fun to make and very useful. Now, thanks for joining me. Bye for now.